everyone. Welcome to 30-minute yoga. We'll be doing more of a flow class in this next 30 minutes. So moving through quite a few poses, I'm going to try to do the warrior series. So we'll get warrior 1, 2, and 3 into this class. So just a different foot placement on those, and we'll work at our own pace. I've got a yoga strap and a yoga block beside my mat. I'm not sure if I'll use them. If you have them close in case you want to use a strap for any stretching, or the block for bringing the floor a little closer to you. You can also use any pillows or towels that you might have to assist. And as always, have some water close by. So we will get ready. As soon as you're comfortable with moving down onto your mat, just taking it slowly, feeling the connection of your back body as you come right down onto your mat. And we'll just lay here and get comfortable. And as people are joining in, they can make their way to the mat. Concentrating on your breath, in and out through the nose as we start this. Palms are facing up, arms slightly away from your body, and your feet turn to the outside of your mat, kind of roll out. As you're taking in and out those breaths, you're feeling your chest and abdomen rise and fall. And you're starting to become aware of how the breath might feel coming in and out through your nostril, down the back of your throat. And doing this body scan to see if there's any areas that you need to send that breath to maybe help with some relaxation in certain areas, the jaw, the shoulders, the brow. And those breaths start to get a little longer and a little deeper. And you can think of it as square breathing. So if you, in your mind, imagine tracing the 4 sides of a square. Along one side you inhale, and along the next side you hold, and then down the 3rd side you exhale, and the 4th side you hold again. So at your pace, the inhale, the hold, the exhale, and the hold. And again, don't follow my pace, because I could be going quicker or slower than you're comfortable with. Now in this one, we're going to inhale through the nose and take a hold at the top. And then open the mouth and exhale with a sigh. Inhale through the nose again and hold. Open the mouth, exhale with a sigh. One more time. And slowly start to wiggle your fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. If you feel like you want to open your eyes, just keep your gaze soft. You can keep them closed. We're going to take a nice long stretch and inhale. Hands high above our head, toes pointing in the opposite direction. Inhale. And as we exhale, we bring the knees in and grab on over the shins. Little rocking side to side, massage the lower back. Taking the head and shoulders off the ground, coming into a little ball, And slowly coming back down again. We're going to raise the feet up, bottom of the feet facing the ceiling, and bringing the hands to the outside of our feet while the elbows stay inside our knees into Happy Baby. And again, we like a little bit of movement at the beginning of the class just to warm us up, activate some spots that maybe have had no activity all day, all morning. And then come to stillness. Let's bring those knees in again. Right hand above your head and roll over to one side and press up with your top arm, making our way into table position. So fingers are nice and wide, wrists are under shoulders. Without locking your elbows, we want to make sure our elbow creases go forward. Your knees are under your hips, and I prop up on my toes. That's my preference. And I sag the belly down and open the chest into cow position as I take an inhale. And then I draw the belly up, round the back, and exhale into cat position. Into cow, inhale, and cat, exhale. Cow. Again, you're doing this at the pace of your breathing. Getting the back nice and warm. Do one last cow and cat. And then come to a neutral spine, flat table. We're going to look over our left shoulder towards our left hip and feel the right side of our body. Get a nice stretch. Still not locking those elbows, so just to check that they're soft. Come back to center. Inhale. And then exhale as we turn and look over our right shoulder towards our right hip. Expanding the left side of our body. And back to table. We're going to go into our first downward facing dog. So slowly bring up your knees and press through your arms. If you need to make any adjustments, maybe those hands move a little bit forward. You're pressing the chest towards the mat, and we walk out the legs. Warm up the muscles down the back of the legs. Keeping it slow. It's a nice gentle stretch. And then come to stillness. And on this stretch, let's make sure our knees stay slightly bent. There's no need to have your heels pressing against the floor. We're trying to press the tail up to the ceiling. Bend slightly and lift up your right leg. Three-legged dog. Bringing that knee in towards your nose and stepping in between your hands, maybe helping that foot up. And we're going to stay low into a lunge position. We can have the knee lifted or down on the ground. Your left hand is by your right foot. And we reach up. And we start to turn towards the right side. So option is with the knee down and hand on your hip as you turn. Your other option is knee up. And we can extend the arm. So different versions, different levels of intensity. Maybe you want to try one and decide if you like it or not. And let's come back with that hand down, step forward with that back leg. Inhale, flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Forward fold. Flat back. And hands down, stepping back. Doing our first flow. So your choice, whether your knees are down or you stay in a full plank, slowly lower down, elbows close. And we come up. We can stay at a low cobra. We can come up a little higher Not quite into a full back bend yet. Now flip your toes, pass through table, or go right into downward facing dog. And again, if you're still warming up those legs, you can walk for a little bit. Eventually come to stillness, pressing the chest through and the tail up. Bend the knees and lift up the left leg, three-legged dog. Bring that knee in, step through, up to your hands, and into our lunge position. Again, you're choosing whether your knee is up or down. And we want to turn and open up, and we can have our hand on our hip, or we can extend up nice and tall. You choose your level. Keep breathing. And slowly bring that arm back down, step forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Forward fold. Flat back. Hands down, stepping back. Ready to do another flow, Chaturanga Dandasana. So slowly lower down with those elbows close to your body. And flip your feet so that you're on the top of your feet. And slowly coming up a little more, if it's in your practice, into a back bend. Bring it back down and press through to another downward facing dog. Lifting up your right leg. Stepping through, coming up into a crescent lunge. So you can help yourself up. Square those shoulders forward with the hips. You're up on the ball of the back foot. And you can raise the arms up nice and tall. Then stretch for the front of the body. We're going to bring the hands in front to prayer position. We're going to come up a little higher onto the back foot and get ready to center your weight on the front foot. So maybe come in just a little bit. Your toe can still be down on the ground with the back foot. And we want to make sure we ground that front foot. Keep the knees slightly bent. And as we lift up the back leg, it doesn't have to be high. We can keep our hands at prayer position or come down by our sides, palms facing forward. And if it's in your practice, you can lean forward, try to come parallel with the floor. As you lean more forward, you don't want to start to open your hips. So again, thinking about squaring shoulders and hips. Keeping that standing leg with a soft knee. And the leg that's lifted to the back, the toe is pulling up to your nose. Breathing. And slowly bring it back down. Now we can do a little touchdown and then come forward, lift that knee to the front. So still working on balance. And if that's not in your practice, you can have your toe touching in front. And every once in a while you can lift. And let's bring that foot down. Inhale. Swan dive down. Flat back. And place those hands down, step back. Your choice of flow. Maybe now you're adding in one or more push-ups. And you can be coming into an upward facing dog with a bigger back bend. Moving into downward facing dog. Remembering as we go through any of these moves, child's pose is always there as an option for you. Lifting up the left leg. Bringing that knee in, stepping forward, And making your way up into Crescent Lunge. So our hips are facing forward, we're on the ball of our back foot, opening up the front of our body. A few breaths here, knowing where we're going, bringing the hands back into prayer position, push up a little higher maybe. Let's slide that foot in a little closer from the back. Ground your front foot and getting ready to start lifting the back leg. Your choice of how high that goes, whether or not you're tilting. And arms into Warrior 3 position if you'd like that. You can also reach out front if you'd like to do something different for the second side. Core tight. Bring the arms back in, slowly standing up and bringing that knee forward and back down. Inhale. Swan dive down. Flat back. Hands down, stepping back. And a flow of your choice. And back into downward facing dog. Right leg up. Bringing the knee through, step forward. We're going to slightly bring in the back leg and turn the foot so that it's pointing to the 11 o'clock position. So I've got my right foot forward and my left foot back. If you're on the other side, your back foot may be pointing to the 1 or 2 o'clock position. We're going to make our way up again, and there may be a tendency to open the hips. We want to keep them forward. So 1 foot forward, 1 is on a slight angle. And let's just lean a little bit into that front thigh without taking the knee past our toe. And we can have arms reaching, arms at heart center. Here's our Warrior 1 pose. We're going to take an inhale in, and we're going to move into Warrior 2. So we turn that back foot so that it's parallel with the short edge of our mat. I need to do a little bit of adjustment so that my stance gets wider. Into Warrior 2. Arms nice and strong, gazing over your front fingers. Shoulders relaxed. Squeeze those glutes and just a little bit of a tilt through the pelvic area. And that front thigh is pushing out towards the back of your mat. Just a little check down and making sure you can see your toes past your knee. Flip your front palm, leaning back, exalting your warrior. Coming back to Warrior 2. Bending your front arm, rested on your shelf of your thigh, and reach up with your top arm. Your option is also to reach forward. As you reach forward, making sure that we don't start to turn. So it's about where you can maintain your form. Back up again. Let's do one more exalt. And cartwheel your hands down. Step forward. Flat back. Exhale. Inhale all the way up. Forward fold. Inhale. Stepping down and back. Your choice of flow again. You can be staying at a cobra, which is just lifting the shoulders slightly, or you can be in that full upward facing dog. Left leg up. And stepping through, turning that back foot, bring it in slightly, and the toes are pointing to either the 1 or 2 o'clock position or the 10 or 11 o'clock, depending on what side you're on. Make your way up. Warrior 1. So hips are closed. They're not opening to the side, so we're trying to have hip creases, shoulders facing forward. I feel more of a stretch here in the calf of that back leg. Nice strong arms again, or keeping them at heart center, whatever's comfortable. Getting ready to move into our warrior 2, so up onto the ball of the back foot. Make any adjustments you need to. This is a wider stance. And then maybe sinking down just a little bit into that wide leg stance. Tucking your glutes, relaxing your shoulders. Flipping the front palm, exalt your warrior. Bringing it back, warrior 2. Bending that front arm, using the thigh as a shelf. And we can be reaching up. You can be reaching forward. And again, as I reach forward, I start to lean forward a little bit, and I don't want to do that as much, so I'm going to keep my hand up. Coming back to warrior 2, and another exalt. And coming back and cartwheeling your hands down, stepping forward. Inhale, exhale, all the way up. Swan dive down, flat back. Hands down, stepping back. This is your last flow. So with or without push-ups, with or without upward facing dog, we're going to come into one final downward facing dog where we just hold. One last time, pressing the chest towards the mat. Tail up to the ceiling. And now let's bend the knees, bring them down a little wider than your hips. Top of your feet on your mat, and we're going to come down into child's pose just for a few breaths. Feeling the back body expand. We can always rest our forehead on our arms or fists. And we're going to slowly make our way up into a seated position. And we can do this next move with or without the bands or the towels. So taking that strap below, so make sure it's below the ball of your foot. Keeping the knees slightly bent. Adjust how you're sitting so that you're on your sits bones. Sit up nice and tall. And as you exhale, fold from the hips, trying to keep the chest up. And it may feel like you're not going as far as you'd like, and you may feel like you want to fold over and try and get your nose to your knees. But it's really about getting your abs onto your thighs. So it's not so much about the upper part through the shoulders and the nose. It's about folding the lower part of your core onto your thighs. So I can be using my hands on my legs for support, or I can be using this strap. And we're going to slowly release. Shake out those legs if you need to. And we'll do that one more time. So any adjustments to how you're sitting, sit up nice and tall, inhale. And exhale, start to fold Maybe you're walking down your legs or walking down the strap. And think about in the direction of getting your abs and your thighs to meet. My toes are pointing back towards my nose, and I'm feeling that stretch all the way down the back of my legs. And slowly release. Going into a cobbler's pose, I'm just going to turn front so my feet are meeting soles of my feet, and I choose how close I get them to my body. So we're going to go into another fold over stretch, and if it feels more comfortable with my feet out further, that's great. So inhale and exhale. You'll feel this stretch a bit more into the inner thighs. Holding and breathing. And slowly come back up. We'll do that again. Maybe you want to make an adjustment where those feet come a little closer. You can also have your elbows slightly pressing onto the inside of your thighs. So it's an inhale, nice and tall, and an exhale. Again, the direction we're going is to bring our abs closer to our thighs. It's like our inner thighs. It's not about getting our nose to our toes. Beautiful stretch for the inner thigh. And slowly come back up. We're going to come up to our feet with our hands behind us for support and just do a seated windshield wiper move. Keep it slow, and when you get to one side, just hold a little bit and press that top hip up. Good stretch. Okay, now we're going to move our way to back, shoulders, head, coming down onto our mat. Keep your knees bent. Move those heels towards your fingers in that direction. We're going to squeeze our inner thighs together as we slowly lift up the hips. And it can be just the slightest lift. It doesn't have to be big. Notice when you do lift, you squeeze the glutes, you're squeezing through the legs. And when you're ready, slowly bring it down. So we don't have to hold a long time either. Let's go into another bridge pose. So inhaling, lifting, and squeezing. Maybe you're getting a little higher on this one. Slowly come down, roll the back, one vertebrae at a time. We're going to do one more. So when you're ready, start to lift up. And you feel like you're pressing those hip creases up to the ceiling. And slowly rolling down. Taking those feet a little wider than your hips. And again, just one last windshield wiper move. Come to stillness in the center, bring in one knee, then the other, roll up into a little ball. And now slowly bring the head down, and we're going to take our legs and extend them to the bottom of our mats. Coming into the same position we started, Shavasana. Feet rolling out to the outside of your mat, palms up. And just focusing on our breathing for the last few minutes of our class. Sending that breath to any area that needs a little help with relaxing. Maybe just a repeated in and out to yourself as we inhale and exhale. Feeling the rise and fall of the chest and abdomen. And you're welcome to stay in your Shavasana for longer if you prefer and have the opportunity. I'll bring us back to finish up the class, slowly wiggling fingers and toes. Keep it slow. Gradually bringing those feet in, bending the knees, rolling over to one side or the other, and slowly sitting up. Keeping your gaze soft, crossing your legs. Staying relaxed, but also trying to have the chest open and the back nice and tall. Those palms resting on the inside of your knees. So you can have palms down, or traditional is palms up. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Do that again. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Bringing those hands to heart center. Taking a moment to acknowledge the time you devoted to you on this beautiful sunny day. Continue to make yourself a priority. Your mental and your physical health are key, and it is not selfish to devote time to yourself. You need to be healthy to be the best you. So let's celebrate when we do that. Thanks for joining me. Namaste. Thanks everyone for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you get a chance to get out and enjoy the sunshine.